Please remain standing, ladies and gentlemen, for the university anthem.
Waar die wilgers welig spruit, doringboom sy skadu sprei, soos ons groei in kundigheid, mag U ons lei. Sien ons hoe hier lei met die hand, laat U sien rus oor ons land. Three strong streams united flow, Africa stands proud and tall. As we learn, we trust, we know God is in control. Bless us, O Lord, guide us with grace. May Northwest be blessed always. Bless us, O Lord, sien ons hier. Ore Jehovah Morena, sien ons, bless us, O Lord.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated.
Good evening, everyone. It is a privilege to stand before you this evening as we celebrate this significant milestone in the academic journey of a distinguished scholar. Becoming a full professor is not merely a title. It is a call to greater responsibility, a commitment to excellence, and a dedication to the pursuit of knowledge for the benefit of society. In Colossians 3, verse 23 to 24, we are reminded, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord and not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving. This scripture speaks directly to the heart of academic leadership. A professor's work is not just about teaching, research, or publications. It's a calling to serve, to inspire, and to shape the minds of the next generation. It's about striving for excellence and not for personal recognition, but as an act of service to a higher purpose, one that impacts the students, the university, and the nation as a whole. Today we celebrate not just an achievement, but a commitment. A commitment to continue working with integrity, wisdom, and passion. A commitment to nurture young minds, push the boundaries of knowledge, and contribute meaningfully to academia and society. Prof. Oriel, may you always be guided by wisdom and strengthened by purpose. May your journey ahead be marked by groundbreaking discoveries, transformative teaching, and leadership that inspires those who follow. Rea le buhela, Prof. Oriel. Eka mosibetsi wa hao oka tlohono lo fatsecha kaulong ena encha. Let us offer a prayer of blessing. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this special occasion and for the journey that has led Oriel to this moment. We ask for your continued guidance, wisdom, and strength as he steps into this new chapter of his academic life. May his work be fruitful, his influence be positive, and his heart be ever committed to truth and excellence. Grant him the ability to inspire students, advance knowledge, and serve with humility and integrity. May he always find joy in his work and fulfillment in his calling. We ask this in your holy name. Amen.
Dumelang bagaetsho. Goeie aand. Good evening. Esteemed guests, staff, virtual guests, students, ladies and gentlemen, we are deeply grateful for your presence as this evening symbolizes an important milestone in our university as we celebrate the professorial inaugural lecture of Professor Oriel Thekisoe. We are thrilled to share this first inaugural lecture within the faculty for 2025 with all of you. On behalf of the Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences, we would like to offer you a hearty welcome to this momentous occasion. A special recognition to Prof. Balia, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Information Technology and Campus Operation, Potchefstroom Campus, for accepting our invitation as a head functionary. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to the FNAS Deanery, Professor Mudise, the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences, Professor van der Westhuizen, the Deputy Dean for Research and Innovation, Professor Midupi, the Deputy Dean for Teaching and Learning. A special greetings also goes to Professor Pieters, who blessed this ceremony earlier. Acknowledged also is the presence of the following directors: Professor Mulale Tom, the Director of the School of Biological Sciences, also Professor Mabuta, the Center Director for Water Sciences and Management. Let me quote Steve Jobs, the former CEO of Apple. He said, "The only way to do great work is to love what you do." I'm pleased to warmly welcome our prestigious guest of honor, Professor Oriel Thekisoe. His passion for science has enabled him to reach a pinnacle of his career. I think you will all agree with me when I say no one arrives at a moment like this without the help of important people around you. Let me take this opportunity to recognize Prof. Thekisoe's family, the wife, Mrs. Gloria Thekisoe. I'm not sure where you are seated. Can you please just maybe raise your hand? You're welcome, Mrs. Thekisoe, Gloria Thekisoe. And also the children of Prof. Thekisoe, it's Tuto, Kazuki Thekisoe, which I believe they're joining us online. Mamu Kwai, Yuki Thekisoe, Reneilwe, Kuhishetsi Thekisoe, Daiki Thekisoe, Moagi Kuhitletsi Thekisoe, Tumisho Thekisoe. It's an honor also to have the following distinguished virtual guests who I believe they are joining us through the live stream. Professor Peter Mbali, the Vice Chancellor of Sefakumakhatu Health Sciences University, who is the former MSc Supervisor of Prof. Thekisoe. Prof. Noburu Inoue, who's the current Director General of the National Research Center for Protozoan Diseases at Obahiro University, Japan, who's the former PhD promoter. Professor Dennis Grapp from the Unified Services University in the USA, who's a research collaborator. Dr. Mutseki Tlatswayo, the technical advisor on fisheries at SADC, based in Gaborone, Botswana. We are so glad that you could be part of this occasion. To the directors, professors, subject group leaders, all staff members, virtual guests, students, ladies and gentlemen, a special welcome once more and gratitude for gracing the occasion with your presence. Again, I wish you an enriching experience this evening. Without further ado, I would like to ask the Executive Dean of FNAS, Professor Modise, to introduce our guest of honor.
Greetings to you all, and a warm welcome to the inaugural lecture of Professor Thekisoe. I take note that you have all been welcomed, but it is still my duty to just repeat that indeed you are welcome. I wish to acknowledge the presence of Prof. Darrell Balia, the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Information Technology and Potchefstroom Campus Operations. And as already indicated, Prof. Darrell is the main functionary today. I would like to note the presence of all the Deputy Deans here, Professor Francois van der Westhuizen, Deputy Dean of Research and Innovation, Professor Tebe Midupi, the Deputy Dean of Teaching and Learning, Professor Lebu Katata Seru, who just left the stage here, the Acting Deputy Dean of Community Engagement and Stakeholder Relations. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of all the directors here. I won't mention their names. And we also have senior academic staff members here. And all those who are online have already been welcomed, and colleagues and friends. But most importantly, Prof. Oriel Thekisoe, his family and friends, his collaborators in the industry, international partners, and all staff members and visitors. It is quite heartwarming to see that attendance is not just here, but it is international. So, in essence, it means that Prof. Thekisoe is well connected academically and otherwise. I also have the pleasure today of meeting his family later. Well, I don't want to say a lot because I've been given a specific task. My task is just to introduce him, but as usual, those that know will know that I will always stray a little bit and brag a little bit. Prof. Oriel is just one of the excellent scholars in our faculty. Our faculty consists of very, very, very excellent scholars. Some of them have got some names, some plants, even some organisms named after them. And we have many B-rated, even sitting amongst us here. They are from this faculty. The only A-rated scientist in the university also originated from this faculty. So, and it is people like these that make us very proud. And I know that those who listen to this every day, it's an irritant to them, but it's fine. Let them deal with that. So, and Prof. Oriel himself is also an NRF-rated scholar. Let me go to the script, colleagues. The biography, which you all have in front of you, I'm glad the lights are on. The writing here is microscopic, and since Prof. Oriel is also somehow a microbiologist, I suppose. Professor Mahane Mulifi Oriel Thekisoe was born in Maokeng Township, Kroonstad, where he also completed both primary and secondary school. He graduated with a BSc honors degree in geology at the University of the North, Master of Science degree in geology at the University of Free State, and a PhD degree in veterinary science at Gifu University. He serves as a postdoctoral fellow of Japan Society for the Promotion of Science in 2007 to 2009, and at Obihiro University of Agriculture and Veterinary Medicine in Japan. He then joined University of the Free State as a senior lecturer in 2009 until 2013, and as an associate professor in 2014. He later joined Northwest University in 2015 as an associate professor, where he established the Veterinary Parasitology and Zoonosis Research Laboratory, for which he is the principal investigator to date. Initially, that is in 2000 to 2015, his research focus was mainly on molecular diagnostics and epidemiology of vector-borne parasitic infections in livestock. However, since 2016, he has expanded the research niche to include zoonotic infections and antimicrobial or antihelmintic resistance with the One Health paradigm. He supervised and graduated 23 PhD and 36 MSc students. He has published 3 book chapters, 138 full-length research articles, and presented 112 national and international conference papers. In 2023, he served as the guest editor of the journal Pathogens for a special issue titled Parasitic Infections and Diseases of Domestic Animals, and has further reviewed manuscripts for various international infectious disease journals. He has been serving on several panels on the National Research Foundation and has been appointed as an external examiner for master's dissertations and doctoral theses at various universities within South Africa. He received the T.W. Kambule NRF NSTF Award in 2014 as an emerging researcher for outstanding contribution to science, engineering, and technology. In 2022, Professor Thekisoe was the JSPS visiting researcher at Obihiro University of Agriculture and Veterinary Medicine in Japan, where he gave guest lectures and mentored postgraduate students. He is a member of the Parasitological Society of Southern Africa and has served on the Executive Council as Secretary General from 2015 to 2018, and is also a member of the Southern African Society for Veterinary Epidemiology and Preventative Medicine, as well as the World Organization for Animal Health for non-tsetse transmitted animal trypanosomosis network. Through his research, he hopes to ultimately contribute to development of diagnostic kits, discovery of insecticides and acaricides, as well as therapeutic compounds for parasitic and zoonotic infections. Ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you Professor Oriel Thekisoe.
This is not the beginning, it's in the middle, actually. Dumelang, Kombawa. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Goedenand, dames en heren. No diagnostics, no disease control. It's a topic that I generated to basically showcase one of the fields of research that I've been focusing on since I started my PhD studies. I'll start first with the acknowledgement, whilst you are still fresh, before you fall asleep, because I believe they are very important. And then I'll just describe some of the few terminologies which are appearing on the topic itself, and then introduce diagnostics, and then my research work on diagnostics itself, and a few words about the future. So I am grateful and highly indebted to the entire Northwest University. Since my arrival at this institution, I've been receiving tremendous support, which has helped me to reach this stage itself. I'm grateful to the management of the university entirely, the faculty, the Unit for Environmental Sciences and Management, School of Biological Sciences, my colleagues within the school, be it zoology, microbiology, botany, all have contributed to get myself where I am standing right now. And I also want to thank the NWU Wellness. It's not because Bonita is here, no. But they also helped me when life was tough. There was a period where I was going through a lot of problems, and they assisted me in many ways. And I want to say thank you very much with that. I thank entire Northwest University once again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm also grateful to my family. They have contributed in many ways. And you can see it's an entire village, which is appearing on the photo. And very few of them are here. And I want to single out 3 people. My mother, Naku, she could not be around because of the issues of age. And then also 2 ladies. The one in the middle here is my auntie, Belina Thekisoe, but she's our mother as well for the entire village you are seeing here. Unfortunately, she's late, but she contributed to get majority of us educated. Some of the people who are here are kennels in the SAPS, some are teachers, and you have a professor standing right in front of you. It's because of the contribution of this lady entirely. And then there's another lady here with this fake photo, which is not very visible. She's also late. She's my grandmother, our grandmother actually, for this entire village. She raised 70% of the people that you see in this photo, and my daughter Mamukwai is named after her. And then, but in general, I'm thankful to the entire family. They are still supporting me until today. They keep me happy. And I want to thank my teachers, Professor Pitambati, who was my master's supervisor, Professor Noboru Inoue, my PhD supervisor. I just want to say thank you for planting the seed. And I also want to thank a lot of my collaborators, both national and international. I'm also grateful to the students. Despite our efforts to inspire them, if they are working very hard, they are also a motivation to us the supervisors. So I'm glad and I'm grateful to them as well. Some of the work that I'll be presenting, it's due to their contributions as well. So it's been said that education gives you wings, and for me, literally, it gave me wings. In April, the year 2003, I boarded a flight for the first time ever in my life, flying to Japan, where I was going to pursue my PhD studies. And I was very excited. It was the first time you can imagine, and I was flying Lufthansa. It was during the outbreak of SARS, so this COVID-19 was not the first SARS outbreak. 2003, during the outbreak of SARS in China, so I had to fly, took the longest route. I flew from Johannesburg to Frankfurt, 12 hours, sat on transit for 8 hours, then flight to Tokyo, 12 hours, took a bus to another airport, 2 hours, and then flight to Obihiro, 1 hour. So I left on the 1st of April, arrived at my final destination on the 3rd of April, just traveling, nothing else, no hotel, nothing. So by the time I arrived there, I was now not excited with the flying. Education doesn't just give you wings, it has also given me children, and one of them appearing here is at the university right now. His name is Tuto, which means education in Setswana or Sotho. So back to diagnostics. No diagnostics, no disease control. As I said, I'll first explain some of the words so that everybody is on par with me, so that everybody understands what I'm talking about. So the word diagnosis is the process of identifying disease signs and symptoms. I think most of us are familiar with this picture, where it's part of diagnosis, where we check fever. Our grandmothers have been doing this, our mothers. We are also doing it to our children. So that is part of diagnosis. Then we have the word diagnostics, which is the practice of diagnosis or techniques of diagnosis. Then we have an English word called ease. When we are at ease, and I'll include animals as well, it means there is absence of difficulty. Everybody is healthy. You see the way we run, the way we walk, we eat, and we are happy when we are at ease as families, as communities, as the country. But there is this English prefix, dis, which is now opposite. If you add it to the word is, it becomes the opposite now. It introduces difficulty. So when we are at this is, we don't run very fast, we don't walk very fast, it's difficult to walk. Same with the animals as well. When they are diseased, they have many different difficulties. We have pain, we are unhealthy, and we are unhappy. You can see also the professor himself, sometimes he's diseased and he's unhappy when he's at the hospital. And then the last word on the topic is control. And in medical terms, control is when we manage the disease itself now. It can be with drugs for treatment of the disease. It can be vaccination, where we prevent disease from taking place, and it can be with education, which is part of prevention of the disease. And we know very well with the COVID pandemic, there was a lot of education. We now know the word sanitize through education. We knew that we had to keep distance when we were at the shops and so on. That was part of the education, but it was part of controlling and managing the disease called COVID-19. So, back to diagnostics. What I call ancient diagnostics was based on one simple English term, observation, where when you wake up in the morning, you feel that I don't have energy, I have a running nose, I'm sneezing. You look at the children, they are also not so energetic. You look at your pets, the animals, they are not running around as usual, you are observing. That is diagnosis itself. That is Asian diagnosis and is the first stage of diagnosis. And that's where we observe the symptoms and the signs. By the way, symptoms is what we as patients think we are having, and the signs is what the medical practitioners now observe and confirm the symptoms. We have another technology, which is microscopy. So for many years, microscopy has been used as part of diagnostics, and we say it's mainstay of laboratory diagnostics. It has been used for many years, it's still used now, and it will continue to be used. You can see even these young professors are already using the microscopy for diagnostics. Modern diagnostics in the 19th century, it includes doctors. They are actually instruments of diagnosis, doctors themselves. And they use some instruments such as stethoscopes and X-rays as part of the diagnostics. I have about 3 of my friends who are listening live online now who are doctors, and one of them, he likes the stethoscope so much that he, even when we attend the football matches, he's always carrying it. Even when we are at the tavern drinking, he's always carrying the stethoscope. I hope Prof. Oriel is not listening to that part. Then the 20th century diagnostics includes use of robots, and literally so. And it includes also genetic technology. We have instruments such as next generation sequencing. It was through it that NICD was able to discover different variants of COVID, and which were putting our country in trouble, everybody thinking it's starting here and so on. Next generation sequencing, and then we also have things like CT scans, which can be used now in the 20th century. Then now to my research work, linking it to the rest of the stuff that I've been talking about. And to Prof. Modise, this is the only slide where I'll mention a few words which people don't understand. And during the contact sessions, he has been telling us that as scientists, we usually talk to ourselves only, alone, where people don't understand. So my research work has been based on 2 diagnostic techniques, which are DNA-based techniques themselves. The first one is loop-mediated isothermal amplification. I'll continue to refer to it as LAMP, and then polymerase chain reaction, I'll continue to refer to it as PCR. The first disease which I have been working on, this was during my PhD studies. It is called trypanosomosis, and if it is infecting humans in the African continent, it's called sleeping sickness. There's also human trypanosomosis in America. It is called Chagas disease. And then when it is infecting animals, it's called different names, Sura, Nagana. They say it's literature says it's a Zulu wet, but I asked Zulus, they say they don't know the wet. And anyway, this was the first publication for my PhD studies, and I developed the LAMP assays for detection of Trypanosoma brucei gambiense and Trypanosoma cruzi, which are parasites causing human trypanosomosis, and Trypanosoma congolense and evansi, which cause animal trypanosomosis. Then continuing with human trypanosomosis, together with my American collaborators, Dennis Grepp, and I hope we'll be able to continue collaborating despite the Donald Trump and Elon Musk dis-ease. So we tried to improve this LAMP diagnostic assay for the human trypanosomosis by adding a detergent to the samples, blood samples that were collected, and the cerebrospinal fluid. And the detergent appeared to improve diagnostic efficiency of this LAMP assay, as seen on these figures which are appearing here. Another experiment that I conducted when I was a JSPS postdoc in Obihiro University, we tried to check the durability of the lump reagents. So in this case, as we know, majority of the kits in medicine, they are supposed to be kept in a cold chain, that is in the freezers and so on. And these reagents are supposed to be in, for example, the lump reagents, the recommendation is that they should be kept in minus 20 degrees Celsius cold chain. But we experimented with them. We put them in 25 degrees and 37 degrees storage. And then every day I was doing the experiments with them, and they appeared to be working very well for a period of 15 days, even though they are outside the cold chain. So this, for us, it proved that we can, especially people who work with animal diseases, you can then go and work with these reagents at the farms or in the field. Not necessarily keeping them at 37 degrees now of 25, but you can keep them in a cooler box, which will not be minus 20. But as long as they are cool, then it means they will still function properly. Another disease that I worked on is called tailoriosis, and in this case, there's a parasite called Theileria parva which infects cattle and buffaloes. We have the disease here in South Africa. It's called corridor disease. In East Africa, it's called East Coast fever, which is caused by these parasites in cattle. It's one of the fatal diseases. And the parasite is transmitted by the ticks to cattle and buffaloes. So this was one of the master's students' project where what we called hybrid 2 real-time PCR assay was developed for detection of Theileria parva infections in buffaloes and cattle. And this assay was then adopted as a supplementary diagnostic assay at ARC Honesteport Veterinary Institute reference laboratories of the government of the Republic of South Africa. The other disease we worked on is called toxoplasmosis. Toxoplasmosis is caused by a parasite called Toxoplasma gondii. And this parasite infects both humans and animals. In animals, it doesn't cause any disease, as well as in humans, which are immunocompetent, where it means if you are healthy, your immune system is okay, we get the infection. Chances are 70% of us in this room once got the infection, and we didn't fall sick. Toxoplasmosis is only a problem for the pregnant women, where it causes abortions and congenital infection. If a baby is born with an infection, then they start to have neurological problems and eye problems. So we developed a lump assay for detection of this Toxoplasma gondii parasite, and we validated it with the screening of the pig samples, and it worked properly as well. Another common disease is called cryptosporidiosis. It has a very worldwide distribution. We also have it in South Africa. In many countries, we say it's a cosmopolitan infection because you have it in any country, rich or poor. It doesn't matter. And once again, 80% of us have possibly got the infection with it. It just causes diarrhea. And you can have diarrhea for a day or two, and then you recover. We say it is self-healing. Once again, it is a problem with only people who have a problem with the immune system. It infects both humans and animals, and it causes disease in both humans and animals, that diarrhea that I was mentioning. So we also developed the lump assays for this technique, and during the experiments, we tested the assay on the fecal samples, which were collected from animals, cattle, and as well as the water samples, which were collected from the rivers, because this parasite oocysts are found in the river. So the disease, we say it is a waterborne disease, and the assay also works well for detection of that parasite in fecal and water samples. The other diseases that we worked on is pyroplasmosis, and pyroplasmosis, for the one that infect horses, it is caused by two parasites, Babesia cabali and Theileria equi. and which are transmitted by ticks on the horses. We also developed the assays for detection of this, lump assays for detection of these two parasites in horses. We also developed lump assays for a disease called bovine babesiosis, which is caused by two parasites, which are Babesia bovis and Babesia bigemina. And in this case, with this assay for bovine babesiosis, we call it M-LAMP because it is a multiplex assay where you can detect two pathogens in one reaction. So we called it multiplex LAMP. Another interesting disease, it is called Newcastle disease. And this one is caused by a virus, paramyxovirus, which infects chickens. And it is fatal in chickens. For people who are farming with chickens, they always have to make sure that this virus doesn't reach their place. You can have 1,000 chickens on a Monday, and by Friday, if the infection starts on Monday, by Friday you'll be left with 5 chickens out of 1,000. So it's a very fatal disease for the chickens. It can also infect human beings, especially those who work in those chicken farms, but it only causes conjunctivitis, reddening of the eyes, and they become very itchy, but fortunately it doesn't cause any disease, it doesn't cause any deaths for human beings. So we developed the lump assay for detection of this Newcastle disease virus, and we screened it with what we call less invasive samples. It was samples which were collected from the cloaca of chickens and also from the oropharyngeal region with the swabs. And the assay also appeared to work very well. Then we also developed an assay for detection of bovine brucellosis. Bovine brucellosis is caused by bacteria, especially the bacteria called Brucella abortus. It infects cattle, and if humans consume the milk from an infected animal, they also get the infection. It's one of the economically important diseases, so it is under the control of the government. So if there is any detection of it, it should be reported to the government. They are responsible for controlling it. And for the animals, it also causes disease. It mainly causes abortions for the cattle. So this was a PhD project of a student who graduated last year, Dr. Lerato Mabe now, and it was in collaboration with CSIR, and during her study, she developed 3 assays for detection of Brucella abortus, that is conventional PCR, nested PCR, and the LAMP assay. And of these 3, nested PCR and LAMP assay, through all the tests of sensitivity and specificity, we can say they fall at what we call technology readiness level 6. This is according to the scale of the CSIR. When I was Googling, I noticed that NASA also uses the same scale as well. And so I'll explain what is technology readiness level 6 after this slide. We also, from the very same PhD study, we also developed these diagnostic assays for bovine tuberculosis. Bovine tuberculosis is caused by Mycobacterium bovis bacteria. So there is also TB in my family, there's also TB in animals. It's not only in human beings. And so if this bacteria is infecting cattle, and it can cause problems, they can fall sick, but also humans, if they consume the milk and meat from an infected animal, they also get the infection. So once again, similar to brucellosis, we developed 3 assays, conventional PCR, nested PCR, and LAMP for detection of Mycobacterium bovis. And after all the tests, we found that the nested PCR was the one which was performing far better than the others, and it is also at technology readiness level 6. And Then, with the future, the technology readiness level 6, it means now if the research continues, prototype diagnostic kits can be developed. And then if they are developed, prototypes, then they can be distributed to various labs, lab diagnostics labs, and then they can test them and they can give feedback and say they are working fine, then they can proceed to TRL 7 and so on, where then they stand a chance of being developed as commercial kits. That is just the explanation of technology readiness level 6, what can happen. So I'm hoping in the future there will be continuation of this work at CSIR, where maybe one of the assays that we developed can then be developed into a prototype, which will end up being a commercial kit. And then this other rest of majority of the developed assays, even newly developed assays that we've been working on, they can also be adopted by reference laboratories, even though they are not commercial. They can always use them as supplementary methods. So reference laboratories such as NICD, and the ARC. And then for me personally, for the future work, I also wish to continue doing some research work on diagnostics, and there are new technologies, for example, the HRM qPCRs, higher resolution MELT qPCRs, the digital PCRs, and new devices as well, which are very expensive. If I'm saying this, I look at the management. They should know those equipments are very expensive. They can help at some point with purchase of the equipment. So I'll pursue this new technology as well so that we can see whether we can develop them for diagnosis of some of these pathogens which are causing disease. So no diagnostics, no disease control. Basically, the message is that diagnostics is the first line of disease control. So you never wake up and say, hey, today I miss a doctor, I just want to go and see a doctor. No, you wake up, there's something wrong. Then that's why you go to see the doctor. So diagnosis is the most important, is the first line of disease control by any means. And we then should be vigilant with it as well. We should continue developing assays which can help in controlling diseases. And it doesn't matter whether it's human or animal diseases. We are I believe we are still at the 4th industrial revolution, which has brought a lot of things, the artificial intelligence and so on. I think we can also adopt all these kind of technologies for improvement of diagnostics. So there'll always be new diseases. There'll always be old diseases coming back. So forever will always be required to come with new diagnostics. Hence, I conclude by saying, aluta continua. And very last, we have the pirates of Somalia. We know very well about them in the news. We also have pirates of the Caribbean. I belong to Pirates of the South. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you, Prof. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you. Sit somewhere. Okay, yeah. Oh.
David Modisi, Deputy Deans, Professor Lebo, Professor Tebi, Professor Francois, school directors, program leaders, and professors and other teaching and research staff from the faculty, visitors, other staff, students, colleagues, and family friends. Welcome on behalf of the Northwest University to the Potchefstroom campus. Despite the heat, we have survived, and we had an inspiring lecture. It did end on a losing note, but nevertheless, congratulations to Professor Thekisoe. So I was just thinking we should actually name a disease after you. You know, since you spoke only about diseases, Thekisonosis or something like that, you know. I was thinking, you know, because all students who come here, they suffer from this disease. They don't do the studying, but then they write exams and they expect to pass. Similar to the message you were giving us, no diagnostics, but you want to prevent and control the diseases. So you must encourage the students to get away from this disease of Thekisonosis. But congratulations again. You know, when we have these lectures, it is always inspiring for me because the colleagues always show us, you know, images and pictures. And inevitably, as a rule, it has to be about a woman or more than one woman. Usually, it'll be a mother or, yes, and or, you know, a wife, a spouse. It's almost a golden rule. So, as I was sitting and thinking about this, it seems to me the heading for these inaugural lectures must be no women, no professors. But we are ever so grateful, and I'm glad that we acknowledge this. And that picture, that image of the village, it is so very important. It takes a village to produce a professor like yourself, sir. So we really feel inspired that you've come such a long way. I meant to greet you by saying konnichiwa earlier, but we really appreciate the international links you've had with Japan and the global perspective you bring to our university and to your colleagues that you work with on, you know, on disease control. May your work grow from strength to strength, and may you be an inspiration to your students and your colleagues and bring the university to a very high repute in the months and years ahead. We really appreciate what you do. I must just tell you a story. You know, when I was in Japan, and I've been there on 2 occasions, but when you don't speak Japanese, it can be quite challenging. So I'd like to hear how you manage the situation. But the first time I got into a taxi, you know, the person who was coordinating the transport, you know, outside the airport put me into this taxi and gave the instructions to the driver. But this driver just carried on driving and driving and driving, you know, to no end. And I was wondering, what's going on here? So I was sitting at the back, and then I asked the driver, I said, driver, this place that we are going to, is it nearby? He said, yes, 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 yes. I suppose those were the few words of English that, you know, he had. But he's carried on going after that. You know, he never stopped. And I was wondering, where is this place? So I asked him again, driver, this place that we are going to, is it far? He said, yes, 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 yes. My hope is that you didn't, or perhaps you started with those kind of encounters when you were there, but you overcame them because you're a regular visitor. And as you began to talk about your experiences, it reminded me of my own. These are not barriers in the way. They are challenges, and we overcome them. So again, I want to congratulate you not just for the achievement, but the environment and the context in which you have, you know, arrived, as it were. The Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences and if I don't say this, I'll get reprimanded by the dean later. It's the queen of the faculties, especially as far as scientific research goes. But as we heard at our Senate meeting this afternoon, there's a shortage. You know, we are falling as a university in terms of our research outputs. And that is a challenge for this faculty and for the university as a whole, more especially. We really have to up our game and, you know, write those articles and graduate those students at master's and doctoral level. So I'm pretty sure, as we have heard, that is occupying most of your time when you are not watching television and screaming for that losing team. That I'm actually a chief supporter, so I have to rub it in for him. But it's great. Welcome, the College of Professors. This is a very prestigious event. You know, we are wearing these blankets and we are really suffering. We stood outside, but we have to dignify the occasion because this is what it's about. This is an academic ritual. You know, you arrive here, you've worked, I don't know how many years, but it would have been many years of hard work, burned the midnight oil, you know, you've been to many places, and finally you are recognized by your peers, by the university, by the community. You are a full professor, welcome to the ranks. It is a celebration of academic merit and individual achievement. There's no way you could have corrupted yourself into this, you know, situation. We hear this word, you know, corruption all the time, but it's about deception, it's about fraud, it's about underhand behavior. But when you arrive as a full professor and you are inaugurated as is happening today, you are peer reviewed. You know, your work and your colleagues are there to testify. And if you were standing here and if you were talking nonsense, they would have walked out by now. But they didn't do that. In fact, when I first saw the title, No Diagnostics, I thought, do I really want to come to this lecture today because there's no diagnostics? Until I understood what you are really trying to say through your topic. But thank you again. We are inspired. And may we work despite all the things that Donald Trump is doing and has said. You are an improvement on him because you were born in Lesotho, and if you stand in Lesotho and look you know, further to the south, you would know where Lesotho is. He doesn't know where Lesotho is, you see. So you did well. Despite the barriers that we will face in research, and you know, the government itself is absorbing a lot of our support, and the subsidies are being cut increasingly year by year. We will do our best. Your executive dean has applied for millions and millions in research grants. Some of us thought he wants to buy another farm or something, but we know that's not the case. But we will do our best as a university to support this very prestigious faculty that you are connected with, and may your work and the work of the faculty and all of the colleagues here grow, and may your family be eternally blessed. Thank you very much.
Yes, good evening, colleagues. As a person who needs to close this meeting, I don't have to welcome everybody. If you don't feel welcome by now, you know, you should see you didn't listen like I didn't see that. So, Prof. Oriel, I just want, I think, on behalf of the colleagues here, I know we all have a chance now to congratulate you, like in person, shaking your hand and your family. We know this is a personal occasion as well. It's not, Prof. Darryl talked about the formalities, and we realize that we have to do this, and you know, there's a ceremonial part of it, but there's also a festive part of it, because we know that you had a journey, a personal journey, academic journey, but also a personal journey. You talked about it, and we witnessed that, and we are very happy for you now, and that's why we're going to celebrate also this evening. I'm very happy to see that we have bottled water after your talk about all those parasites. So we're going to enjoy it very nicely with you. I also wanted to say that it's important for us also to thank the people behind the scenes, Emma and the team, Darlene and the AV people there at the back. Thank you very much. The photographers, Leslie and Aloisa, always, recording the event here. And I think with that, I can close this evening and we can start with the festivities. Emma, we can stand up for the anthem. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Così si chiede Africa, manu pagani su pono loaio, Yiswa imitana so yetu, Così si gelera, Tina musapo loaio, Murena buluka se chava sa Yesu, ufe dice dentro ale maxwenye, si buluke, si chava sa Yesu, si chava sa South Africa, South Africa. Heidi blauw van onze hemel, uit die diepte van ons ziel. Voor ons eeuwige gebergtes, wat die krause antwoord geeft. Sounds the call to come together, and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land.
For the academic procession. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have the photo session on my left side. We're firstly going to start with the academic procession, and then immediately after that is going to be the family, and then joined by the friends and colleagues. Thank you.